All right, here goes. I don't even know why I'm writing this. Maybe just a vent, maybe to make sense of everything. Either way, I need to get this off my chest. A few years back, I thought I had everything figured out. A solid job, a beautiful home, and most importantly, a wife I adored. Erica and I had been together for almost a decade, married for 6 of those years. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I truly believe we were happy. She was my best friend, my partner in crime, the person I trusted the most. Then, of course, reality hit me like a truck. It started with the little things. She became more distant. She started going out more, always with some excuse. Girls' night out, late meetings, just need some space to unwind. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But then came the lies. One night, she told me she was going to dinner with her friend, Lisa. Nothing unusual, except stupid me. I happened to run into Lisa at the grocery store at the exact same time Erica was supposed to be with her. I played dumb, asked Lisa how their dinner was going, and the look of confusion on her face told me everything I needed to know. I didn't confront Erica right away. Instead, I waited. I watched. The late nights became more frequent. The smiles when she looked at her phone became more secretive. And then one night, I got my answer. She was asleep, her phone buzzing on the nightstand. A message popped up. Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you. I didn't even hesitate. I picked up the phone, unlocked it, because, I knew her passcode. Guess she forgot about that. And there was a whole damn novel of text between her and some guy named Jason. I read everything. Every lie she told me. Every excuse. Every "I love you" she sent to him while I was sitting in the next room, thinking we were just going through a rough patch. I don't remember much after that. Just that sickening feeling in my stomach, like my whole world was collapsing in on itself. I put the phone down, went to the bathroom, and threw up. I didn't wake her up. I didn't scream or yell. I just sat there, in the dark, staring at the woman I thought I knew. The worst part? The texts weren't even the end of it. But I'll get to that later. I barely slept that night. I kept looking over at Erica, wondering who the hell this woman next to me even was. She was sleeping so peacefully, like she didn't just set fire to our entire life. Morning came, and I still hadn't figured out what to do. Should I wake her up and confront her? Should I act normal? Should I leave? I wasn't ready. Not yet, so I played along. At breakfast, she was her usual self, laughing, chatting, telling me about some nonsense at work. I just sat there, sipping my coffee, watching her lie to my face. Then I asked real casual, "Hey, how was dinner with Lisa?" She didn't even flinch. "Oh, it was great. We had some wine. Caught up on everything. You know how she is." I knew right then. If she could lie that easily, without a second thought, then this wasn't some mistake. This was who she was now. I still didn't confront her. I needed more. I needed to make sure I wasn't crazy. So I started paying attention. That weekend, she said she was going out with her coworkers. I told her, have fun. She left around 7 p.m., dolled up more than usual. My gut told me she wasn't with coworkers. So I followed her. I never thought I'd be that guy, the one creeping around in his own car, following his own wife. But there I was, parked outside some fancy restaurant, watching her walk in. And guess who was waiting for her at the table? Jason. I watched them laugh, drink, lean in close. I wanted to believe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe it was just a friendly dinner. Maybe she was telling the truth, and Jason was just some co-worker. Then she kissed him. And just like that, my world ended. Don't even know how long I sat there, watching them. It was like my brain refused to process what I was seeing. Erica, my wife, laughing, touching his arm, kissing him like she hadn't just kissed me that morning. I should have barged in. I should have made a scene. But I didn't. Instead, I just sat there, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Eventually, they got up. He held her waist as they walked out, all smiles. They got into his car and drove off. I already knew where they were going. Our house was closer, but she didn't want to risk it. Instead, she was going to him. I followed, Not closely. Didn't want her to see me, but enough to know exactly where they ended up. An apartment complex about 10 minutes away. I parked down the street, watching her walk inside like she belonged there. I had all the proof I needed, but still I stayed. Minutes turned into an hour. Then 2. My mind went to war with itself. Do I storm in there? Do I call her? Do I take pictures and send them to everyone she knows? At some point, I lost track of time. Then, around midnight, she finally came out. Hair a mess, adjusting her dress, looking around like she was afraid someone would see her. Someone did. Me. She got into her car and drove home. And I just sat there, staring at the building, Jason still inside, completely unaware that his life was about to get ruined. Because I wasn't going to explode. I was going to plan that. I didn't go home right away. I needed to cool down. If I walked through that door in the state I was in, I'd either say something I wasn't ready to or do something I'd regret. Instead, I drove. Nowhere in particular, just down empty streets, headlights blurring in my vision. My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. I was angry, yeah, but more than that, I felt stupid. Stupid for not seeing it sooner. Stupid for trusting her. Stupid for loving her. By the time I got home, she was already in bed, curled up like she hadn't just been with another man hours ago. I stood in the doorway for a long time, just watching her. She stirred. "Hey," she mumbled sleepily. "You're home late. Everything okay?" I almost laughed. Was everything okay? No, nothing was okay, but I forced myself to stay calm. I climbed into bed like nothing had changed, because as far as she knew, nothing had. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I played the long game. I didn't want a messy confrontation. I didn't want screaming, crying, and begging. I wanted control. So I started gathering everything. Bank statements, phone records, proof of the affair. I backed up every text, every call log, every excuse she had ever given me. If I was going to burn our marriage to the ground, I wanted to make sure she had nowhere to run. And while I did that, I acted normal. I kissed her goodbye in the mornings. I sent her texts throughout the day. I even planned a dinner date for the weekend, just to watch her lie to my face when she inevitably had other plans. I let her dig her own grave. And trust me, she did. The thing about cheaters, they get comfortable. They start thinking they're untouchable, that they're smarter than you, that you'd never suspect a thing. Erica was no different. Over the next couple of weeks, I kept playing the role of the clueless husband. I told her I was working late some nights, just to see what she'd do. And sure enough, she used that time to sneak off to Jason's place. I tracked her car. I checked our shared bank account and saw the little purchases, wine, fancy takeout, motel charges she was dumb enough to put on our joint credit card. Every time she lied, it almost amazed me how easy it was for her, how natural. One night, she came home late, her makeup slightly smudged. "Ugh, work was so stressful today," she sighed, kicking off her heels. Karen just would not shut up in that meeting. I nodded. "Yeah, long day, huh?" She groaned. "You have no idea." I had an idea. She showered before bed, which she never used to do, and when she climbed into bed next to me, I had to force myself not to flinch. It wasn't just anger anymore. It was disgust. But I waited. I needed to time this right. Then, one day, I got the perfect opportunity. She told me she was going on a girls' trip for the weekend, some spa getaway with Lisa and the others. She even showed me texts from Lisa confirming the plans. But I wasn't an idiot. I knew she was going with him. So I made some plans of my own. The day before her trip, I called Lisa. "Hey," I said casually. "Just wanted to check. What time are you and Erica heading out tomorrow?" There was a pause. What?" "Bingo. I pressed. For your spa weekend?" Lisa hesitated. "Erica's not coming with us." She said she had a work thing. Work thing, my ass. I thanked Lisa, hung up and smiled. Erica had no idea, but she had just handed me everything I needed. Now it was my turn. The morning of her girls' trip, Erica kissed me goodbye with the fakest, most sugary smile I had ever seen. "I'll miss you," she said, stuffing her bag into the trunk of her car. I smiled back. "Have fun." She had no clue. The second she pulled out of the driveway, I got to work. Step 1, call a locksmith. The house was mine. I had bought it before we got married, and her name wasn't on it. By the time she came back, her keys wouldn't work. Step 2, pack her stuff. And I mean everything. Clothes, makeup, stupid little decorations she insisted on putting up, all shoved into garbage bags and neatly placed in the garage. I even left a note on top. Go stay with Jason. Step 3, make sure she knew she was caught. I printed out every piece of proof I had. Screenshots of texts, motel receipts, photos of her car parked at his place overnight. I even had a picture of the two of them kissing at a restaurant. I put it all in an envelope, labeled it for Erica, and left it on the kitchen counter. Then, for the grand finale, I sent a mass text to her family and close friends. "Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a heads up that Erica and I are divorcing. Found out she's been cheating on me for months. If she tells you anything different, I have receipts. Hope you all have a great day." I turned off my phone after that. By the time she and Jason checked into their little love nest, my work was done. Now all I had to do was wait. She didn't even make it through the whole weekend before the storm hit. I was sitting on the couch, drinking a beer, feeling the most relaxed I had in months, when the first call came in. Ignored it. Then another, and another. Then the banging on the door started. "Open the door." Erica's voice was furious. I took my time, finishing my drink before strolling over. When I finally opened the door, she looked wrecked, hair a mess, mascara streaked, still wearing the same clothes she'd left in. "You changed the locks?" she screeched, shoving past me before realizing her stuff wasn't in the house anymore. I folded my arms. "Figured you'd be staying with Jason from now on." Her face dropped. "What?" I just smiled and pointed to the garage. "Your stuff's in there. Thought I'd help you move out." For a moment, she just stood there, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Then she lost it. "You are being insane. I was on a work trip. What the hell is wrong with you?" I didn't even argue. I just reached for the envelope on the counter and tossed it onto the coffee table. "Go ahead. Explain this." She looked at it like it was a bomb. When she finally opened it, her whole body stiffened. You spied on me," she whispered, eyes darting across the pages. "You stalked me." I laughed. "You cheated on me. You lied. Over and over again. And now you want to play victim?" Her face twisted, and that's when the waterworks started. "It's not what you think," she sobbed. "He pressured me. He was going through a hard time, and I didn't know how to say no." I almost felt insulted. After months of lying, of sneaking around, she really thought she could gaslight her way out of this? I just shook my head. "Save it. I'm done. You can cry to Jason." That set her off again. "Jason doesn't mean anything to me." I raised an eyebrow. "Cool. Then living with him should be real easy." She started begging then, promising we could fix this, that it was a mistake, that she'd do anything to make it right. I just grabbed her car keys from the counter, pressed them into her hand, and opened the front door. "Leave." She didn't move. "Erica, leave. Before I start calling people to come pick up these trash bags from my garage." That did it. She let out this choked sob, snatched up the envelope, and ran out the door. As soon as she was gone, I locked it behind her. And just like that, she was out of my life. That I thought that was the end of it. I really did. But cheaters? They don't go down quietly. The next day, my phone was blowing up. Messages from her, her friends, even a few of her family members. Some were shocked. Some were trying to stay neutral. And a couple of them actually had the nerve to tell me I was overreacting. "You didn't have to humiliate her like that. She made a mistake. You could have handled this privately. Marriage is about forgiveness. You're really going to throw everything away over one bad decision." I didn't respond to a single one. Then came Jason. Now, I expected some kind of reaction from him. Maybe a text, maybe some cocky little speech about how he won. What I didn't expect was a phone call. I let it go to voicemail, and man, this guy did not disappoint. "Dude, I don't know what kind of psycho you are, but you need to back off. Erica's a mess, and it's because of you. You really think this makes you the bigger man? You ruin her life over a few stupid mistakes. That's pathetic, man. Real pathetic. I just listened, shaking my head. This was the guy she threw away our marriage for? I saved a voicemail, just in case I ever needed a good laugh. A couple of days later, Erica tried showing up again. This time, she wasn't screaming. She wasn't crying. She just stood there on my porch, looking exhausted. I don't have anywhere to go, she said quietly. I crossed my arms. Not my problem. Her lip trembled. Jason doesn't want me at his place. He says it's too much drama right now. I almost laughed. The guy she wrecked our marriage for had already thrown her aside. Guess that sucks for you, I said. She swallowed hard. I don't know what to do. I don't have anyone. I stared at her for a long moment, feeling nothing. No sympathy. No anger. Just nothing. Not my problem, I repeated. Then I shut the door in her face. She stood there for a while, but I didn't check to see how long. Eventually, she left. And just like that, the last piece of my old life walked away. And you know what? It felt good. After Erica left that day, things got weirdly quiet. No more calls, no more texts, no more sudden visits. It was like she just disappeared. At first, I figured she would stay with a friend or crashing in a hotel. But then, a few days later, I ran into Lisa at the grocery store. The same Lisa Erica pretended to be with that night. She was really with Jason. She gave me this awkward look before finally saying, "Hey, how are you holding up?" I shrugged. "Fine." Then she sighed. "I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Erica's a mess. She's staying with her cousin across town. Lost her job, too. Apparently, she called in sick one too many times, and HR caught on." I raised an eyebrow. "Wow." Lisa bit her lip. "Look, I'm not defending what she did, but she's not okay. She's been drinking a lot. Like, a lot. Her cousin said she barely eats, just sits around all day crying." I didn't say anything. "She keeps talking about you," Lisa went on. "About how she screwed everything up. About how she wishes she could take it all back." I sighed. "She can't take it back, Lisa. And she sure as hell didn't care when she was sneaking around behind my back. She only regrets it now because she lost everything." Lisa nodded slowly. "Yeah, I guess so." We said our goodbyes, and that was that. I should have felt something. Pity, maybe. Some kind of satisfaction. But honestly, I just felt done. Erica made her choices. Now she had to live with them. I went home that night, cracked open a beer, and sat on my porch, looking up at the sky. For the first time in forever, I felt free. A few weeks passed. No word from Erica. No texts, no calls, nothing. And I was good with that. Then one night, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to check. It was Sammy, my daughter. "Dad, can you please come to the hospital? It's Mom. It's bad." My stomach dropped. I didn't even think. I just grabbed my keys and drove. My hands were shaking the whole way there. I hadn't seen Erica since the day I turned her away, and now she was in the hospital? When I got there, Sammy was waiting in the hallway, eyes red from crying. She hugged me tight. "What happened?" I asked. She sniffled. She overdosed. My heart clenched. "What?" Sammy wiped her eyes. "It wasn't like on purpose, I think. She's been drinking a lot, mixing it with her meds. Her cousin found her passed out and called an ambulance." I rubbed my face. I didn't know what to say. "She asked for you," Sammy whispered. I hesitated. Every instinct in me said to walk away, to leave her in that bed and let her deal with the mess she made. But then I looked at my daughter. This kid who still somehow loved both of her parents, no matter how much one of them had screwed up. So I sighed. "All right, let's go." When I stepped into the hospital room, Erica looked rough, pale, thin, dark circles under her eyes. She turned her head when she saw me, tears already welling up. You came, she croaked. I nodded but didn't say anything. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I ruined everything. I sat down in the chair beside her bed. Yeah, you did. More tears spilled down her cheeks. I don't expect you to forgive me. I needed to see you, to say I'm sorry. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on my knees. You did this to yourself, Erica. You had a husband who loved you, a daughter who adored you, a life people dream of, and you threw it away. Not just once, not just a mistake. You chose to lie. You chose to cheat. She covered her face with her hands, sobbing. I know. I sighed, shaking my head. I don't hate you, Erica, but I don't love you either. Not anymore. You have to live with what you did. That's not my burden to carry. She just cried harder. Sammy stepped in then, putting a hand on my arm. Dad, I think that's enough. I looked at my daughter, my priority, my only priority now. I stood up. Get better for her, Erica. Not for me, for Sammy. And with that, I left. That was the last time I saw her. It's been a year now. The divorce went through, I kept the house, and I'm seeing someone new. She's nothing like Erica. Honest, kind, real. Sammy still sees her mom, but it's strained. Erica's better than she was, but she's not the same person she used to be. Maybe she never was. And me? I'm good. Better than I've been in a long time. Cheaters don't win. They just lose everything.